we got to talk about the bottom. The baby. We got to timeline this. We got to definitely timeline this. Okay, so week after the Rolling Loud event, there was a clip from Dababy's performance, which he made some homophobic remarks concerning he did a call to action saying that, raise your phone in the air if you a man and you ain't suck in the back of the parking lot or whatever, or if you ain't got AIDS or whatever, and it's the AIDS or HIV or whatever. Yeah, real insensitive, hurtful to a lot of people that's actually dealing with this virus, and also people in the community as well, people in the LGBT community as well. And after getting called out, his response was that it was a call to action and this is a performance, and my gay fans know I wasn't trying to disrespect them. My gay fans don't have HIV and AIDS. They're not junkies. They're it was, when I tell you the PR team on this artist, like, they are just in shambles right now, because every time this man talks, tweets, does anything, it's like this whole, like, what are you doing? Okay, let's just start there, because then we'll get into the people's responses and people jumping in. Let's just start here.
Okay. So I literally said yesterday, like, being a publicist in this business has its highs and lows. And I bet if he had a PR team, a real firm working behind him, they were probably pulling all their hair out this week. And, it's just like Chris Brown gave the best advice. I was shocked.
It took Chris Brown.
Chris Brown, of all people, gave the best advice of the whole week. He said, go do your show, perform, and then get off the fucking stage. Okay? Shut up. Shut up. Like, and it's like every time Dababy talked or made a post or whatever, it's like, this is getting worse. You should just stop. Just stop. Don't say anything else. Just stop. And let your PR team do their thing. But I was like, he can't possibly have a PR team, because I would have quit on him this week. Ain't no way. You're just making a bigger mess. My price just went up.
Not my price just
right.
My price just went all the way the fuck up. I don't know what he thought he was trying to do here. What I think he was trying to do
is get canceled with Tory Lanez, so he could be with his
not canceled, but like profit off of outrage marketing. Which that's something that people say Lil Nas X is doing, but he did it better. You disrespected groups of people, like you disrespected a lot of people that probably is in your fan base, because there's a lot of gay people that listen to Dababy. First of all, there is a lot. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter play him, to a lot of OnlyFans community, they play him or whatever. Like, there's a lot of people that play your music. You offended a lot of people, and to sit there and say that your fans don't have the virus, I'm like, oh, my fans don't have the virus. They not junkies. They not out here just getting dick down and then this and that third. I'm like,
right. You have hundreds of thousands of fans. You don't know what the fuck these people doing.
Like, did you do like a survey? Did you do like a what? Where did this come from? And I think because a lot of people was like, oh, why? Because I had to unfriend a lot of people. I had to really get people together and stuff like that. And I just noticed I just cannot talk to certain people about situations like this. I think because it's like, why are you so upset about it? I'm like, I'm upset about it because I thought Dababy was different. It hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
That because we seen him work with Lil Nas X in the whole Panini remix, and I thought, yeah, that was a cash grab, whatever. That's that was something. But he did it. He remixed his song. It seemed like they took a picture together in the award show. Like, he seemed like he was real cool, and it showed representation of straight men, black straight men, not being homophobic. And then you do this, like, I'm like, what the hell?
But
so
so here's the thing, right?
It bothered me.
So with Dababy and like past action, what he said, like it for him. Now this is my opinion. But y'all know how I leave how I base my opinions, right?
Right.
What he said was ignorant. Now, as far as being homophobic, because we use this word a lot, and usually homophobia it's rooted in a fear of. Yeah. And sometimes there are certain actions and behaviors that are socialized behaviors, and sometimes people sometimes are just dumb as fuck. Like, let's be honest. Like, most people are just dumb about things that they're not experiencing. And considering where he comes from, how he grew up, even his persona in music, it's like this wasn't beyond him. Like, I'm not surprised. I wasn't surprised. I was just like, wow, so soon. I mean, there was just so much going on. No, but the reason I said it is because there was so much happening that night at Rolling Loud. Like, not only did you, after the whole public thing between Meg and Party on Twitter or whatever, he performed right after her, played her song, then brought out Tory Lanez, and then played another song that he did with her. So it's like, it felt like organized trolling. And so for him to
outrage marketing,
right? And I was like, this is karma. I said, because somebody in that audience leaked that on purpose. Like, oh yes, this is
open that up.
Oh yes, or you know what I mean? Like, it's like people just aren't really conscious about what they're doing and what they're saying, and try to walk through without repercussions. But I also feel like for Dababy, what was upsetting, it was just disappointing. I was very disappointed. I remember Dababy when he was Baby Jesus. I remember him being in New York, in Manhattan, with that fucking baby suit, not the one he has now, like the first one with the little white baby with the diaper. He was out in New York with a big ass fucking diaper on.
Wait, Dababy, the artist? That what?
Dababy, yes, was in New York with nothing but a diaper.
I remember that.
And chains. He was performing his music on the street. He had a team of like maybe 6 or 7 niggas who were pushing his mixtape. Like, I remember him. I remember being in the city and seeing him and being like, wow, that's how you do it. Like, get your music out there. I'm like, someday I got to be out here with a motherfucking crown and robe on, racking on top of a car, trying to get my stuff out. But when I saw him like 2 years ago, when I saw his music video get picked up, you know, the one where he was in the, you know, the male, I can't remember the name of the song, but you remember his first major video that went.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, look, he made it. You know what I mean? So I was like, wow, that was someone in my lifetime that I actually got a chance to see out there, like just grinding to make it happen, and then to watch them get where they're going. And so now I'm just like, you really just tried to commit career suicide.
Yeah.
For what though? And I'm like, now, and the message is so fucking outdated. Like, where did this come from? What sparked in your brain to bring this message as if we were in 1991? Like,
this shit was too direct.
What is happening? Did he catch his boyfriend sucking dick in the parking lot?
That's what people were saying. Like,
why is he so upset? What happened? What was it? How?
My whole thing is, when I first seen this, I was like, wow. I mean, I even though all that I said before, like I said, I wasn't surprised or whatever, I wouldn't be surprised or whatever, but like, I still feel like I'm more upset at the reaction than the actual event, because, okay, fine, whatever. If you would have just shut the fuck up and not said nothing after it, because we knew you wasn't going to apologize, and if you was going to apologize, it wouldn't have been genuine. So you should have just shut the fuck up and not say nothing. But you continue to tweet, and you continue to try to gaslight us, saying, "Oh no, I'm saying people." You said people in general. Raise your phone to hand if you ain't suck dick in the parking lot. No, you said men, and then one of your mans in the background was like, because they dudes be mad stuff, and we knew what you were talking about, sir.
Right, but I also think that was targeted towards another artist that was there, possibly another male artist. But you know, I'm not Wendy Williams. This is allegedly.
Oh, not allegedly.
But I don't think now, as far as them bringing Lil Nas in, and I think that Lil Nas was brought into the conversation.
That came after T.I, and we can.
That came after T.I, but Dababy's response on Instagram, like almost like, please just shut up, you're making this worse, is that when you go into this fight or flight mode with your career, because you really are gambling with your career, when you realize that you pissed off the gays, because gays have a history of mobilizing. Unlike a lot of straight people, they've never had to really coalesce around anything outside of like maybe civil rights if you're black. straight people don't have to coalesce around much, but LGBTQ people fight for space all the time. HIV/AIDS, the stigma that comes with that disease, has been something that our community has been fighting for almost 40 years. You know what I mean? So those type of comments, that the ignorance, and the way that it was just so blatantly ignorant, sends people into a spiral. And so, of course, you're going to get backlash. You should have known you were going to get backlash from speaking on other people's sexuality. You should have known you were going to get backlash for speaking about HIV and AIDS and literally ostracizing people who have it and making them feel as if they're nasty. You don't know who was in that crowd that had HIV. And
you don't know how they got it.
You don't know how they got it. You don't know, anything like that. And I was like, it was just so dumb. It was so ignorant. And then for him to double down on it and then to make it as if, well, I should have the right to say these things if everybody else has the right to be free. Your freedom has nothing to do with you diminishing other people's lives. Like it's not included in your freedom, because if that's how you truly feel, then we have the freedom to make sure that you don't make another dime. We have the freedom to make sure that you take care of whatever money you made. Take this money that you made during this time, and you better invest it and hope it multiplies, because you can't get any more from us. And the way that the industry is designed at this moment, understanding how important it is to be inclusive, especially with, there's a reason why Lil Nas X was allowed the space. I'm not going to say it's just talent alone, but there's a reason why Lil Nas X occupying that space means something. Eventually, hopefully, we'll be able to see more LGBTQ artists, but it means something. Dababy, you ain't got no diamond record. T.I ain't got no diamond records. You know what I mean? Like, at this particular moment, people are very aware that you are to treat certain people with care. Now, equality comes in its own form.
Yeah.
Because Lil Nas X could say something stupid or do something stupid, his ass could get canceled too. The only difference is they're mad that because of the things that he's done, that he's openly expressed, that outrages them or makes them feel uncomfortable, they don't have the power to cancel him. They don't have the power to remove him, because they have to deal with it and stay in it and be like, okay, well, they're here and we have to just. Yeah. Nas X makes people uncomfortable. The idea of having, homoerotic imagery or, this hyper masculine space, because hip hop is still a very hyper masculine space. That's why most of the women who are successful have to rap about fucking niggas and how what their coochies are and all that kind of stuff. Because it's a hyper masculine space, and that's what the consumption level has been. So for a Dababy trying to create a direct contrast in this moment, I feel like it's like a moment of overcorrection, right? They're just trying to make sure that they still can maintain their space. Being toxic masculinity, because
I think their space is under attack because other people are
in it,
like Lil Nas X,
being successful at it.
But the thing about it is, though, it's not diminishing what you have going on. You can still,
and that's why I said it's ignorant. It shouldn't. And I said he's operating in a space.
And that goes into T.I really, because he came out with a statement. He was on, he got on live. People putting their 2 cents into it. We'll get into it. T.I was saying, "Oh, if Lil Nas X can kick his shit like in peace, then Dababy should too." My thing is, you're literally saying that if Lil Nas X can be who he is unapologetically, then Dababy has the right to be homophobic.
Yep,
unapologetically.
And you know what? Here's a moment. I agree.
What do you mean?
I agree with T.I. I agree that if Lil Nas X gets to speak his mind, gets to showcase himself artistically and creatively, gets to own who he is, gets to create space for other artists who don't fall into some little small ass box. I believe that Dababy has the right to do the same thing. And you know what? The difference is, I also believe that every action has a reaction, and there's going to be rewards and consequences for those actions. So T.I is absolutely correct. Now, as far as kicking it in peace, I don't know about all that, because anytime that Lil Nas X does something, there's not peace, there's ruckus, there's outcry, there's this fragile masculinity complex that comes from men and women. And
the pick me game.
But the difference is how he moves through it. He says his shit and goes on to the next thing, keeps making his money, blah, blah, blah. Dababy, on the other hand, because what you are doing is actually harmful to people. Like, you committed violence on that stage. People don't understand that when you get on a major platform, the one that he was on, or the one that he's on, because he got on his response and was talking about, this is what happened at my shows. This, you can't get it from a 5-inch screen. Like, nigga, your words don't change just because I saw it on my phone. If I was there, I would have thrown a shoe as well.
Yeah, because someone did throw a shoe at him,
or a bottle or something. You know what I mean? Because this
many words about it. They call this great.
Right, because clearly something went on. Clearly you had a minor aneurysm or a stroke during your performance.
Yeah,
you talking this crazy shit. But with T.I, this old ass man jumping in like, oh, he should be able to kick it in peace. You know what? You're right, but there should have been a part 2 to that. Every action has an opposite reaction. There are consequences and rewards to those actions. So whatever the consequences are for Dababy being who he is and expressing his free thought or whatever, then you have to take that own it, own all of it. But if you really want to be a person that's going to change, like, don't even try, like his response using that, don't fight hate with hate. Well, first of all, that lets me know that you recognize what you said was hateful. That was the first thing I saw. Don't fight hate with hate. Oh, so you recognize what you said was hateful. Mm-hmm. And now what you're experiencing, you feel that it's hate towards you. This is correction. What you did was wrong. This is public chastisement. Just like when you're a kid and your mom have to whoop your ass in the store because you did something she told you not to do.
Okay.
At the house, you knew better than get your black ass on that stage and say that dumb ass shit. So now that you've shown your ass, you got to get this ass whipping.
And then you get mad when people are reacting in the way that they're reacting. You call Dia Lupa culture vulture, which I find we should definitely not weaponize that term. We should stop weaponizing terms if shit does not go our way. Yes, she made a statement. You did a song you came on a song with her.
And these people lose their money.
People are protecting a business at the end of the day, and that's all it.
But but I'm telling you, like, this is so much karma, because the same way that he was during the Meg and Tory thing, like, man, this is business. I ain't got nothing to do with that, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
You can't be mad now that you was some shit, and the people that work with you are just like, oh, this is embarrassing. Are you not embarrassed?
Are you not embarrassed? Like, no.
This is embarrassing. I don't have nothing to do with that.
I blame Dua Lipa.
Baby, the baby would have been off that song so fast. Like, listen, I made whatever money I can make off that, but we're going to drop this one.
And Victoria Monet said, hey, if you're trying to take him off the original remix and put me on, like, let's get rolling.
So, but back to, because I know we were talking about T.I getting involved.
Yeah, T.I.
Like, he's problematic. First of all,
he did a conversation with Zoe or with the
I Am Zoe.
Didn't they be trying to reach the pick me ass? And I'm not trying to call him pick me, but like,
but you did.
I mean, it is what it is. But the thing about it is, though, they talk to the gay people that's not really going to challenge them. And I felt like Zoe was saying some real shit. He wasn't trying to receive it or whatever. But my thing is, like, this whole narrative that we got to have common ground, we got to talk, we got to reach these straight folks. Fuck that. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of trying to educate people constantly on the same shit over and over and over again. I'm not having no conversations with y'all. People was in my comments. People was really texting me in the DMs because I was posting about it all week, saying, "Oh, well, what did he do? Or what did?" I'm like,
"What did who do? T.I? Or what did who do?
The Baby do? What did the T.I do with the Boosies?" I'm like, "What didn't they do?" Right. I mean, you're on social media like me,
right? So
I can't keep on the form of you straight folks. I'm sorry, I don't want to generalize because I know a lot of y'all. There's some of y'all that get it, but there's a lot of y'all that don't.
Yeah. So ZZ just commented and said, yes, it is really bad for Dababy. So y'all want him canceled, or can this be a learning lesson? Shaking my head, sad.
The learning lesson.
Thank you, ZZ, for your comment. So even with the T.I response and his conversation with I Am Zoe or Zoe, what I won't do is I will not. I'm not going to bash Zoe because he's entitled to his opinions like everybody else is. Like we're entitled to ours. Whether I think his stance is problematic, diving deeper into the conversation, I kind of understand now what his position is, because Zoe had his own issues a couple was it like a month ago or a couple months ago, where he got on live and said that he only dates DL men, doesn't date openly gay guys. And now later learning that for him, his attraction to straight men is also tied to his body dysmorphia or him being afraid to transition. So for him, it was like, well, if he transitions, he'd be a Black woman who likes straight men. He'll be a heterosexual. It's like, it's a lot to unravel. But in the conversation, I think that, and I made a statement about this on my page and on TikTok as well, like we're in the middle of a great awakening. So there are going to be a lot of truths and stuff like revealed during this time while vibrations are high that we may not like. But in order for us to change things, we do have to be able to address really, really, really hard and uncomfortable situations and truths in order for us to work together to build towards any type of collective understanding. And so it's gonna be a lot of shit that people say and do that are gonna be like, I can't believe you did that in the 21st century. However, because we know this has been a problem for so long, we have to be able to be willing to walk into the space to have conversation. Everybody doesn't have that bandwidth, so or that patience, because like
I don't.
Right, like we've been doing this for so long. Like you should know what's going on, but some people.
My entire high school career, people have dissected and tried to ask, or what makes you tick, or what makes you this, or why y'all do that. And I'm done. I'm tired of explaining shit to y'all. Google is free.
Right. And the same way you feel that way about you're tired of explaining, there are people on the other side of this lifestyle that are tired of trying to learn. Like it can be overwhelming trying to, because literally when you're living in your experience, this world is reflective of what you are feeling and living and breathing and things like that. And so everything else is very much, it can be touch and go. Everybody's not empathetic, which means that you can't put yourself in someone else's shoes and actually absorb their perspective of their life, their lifestyle, their choices and things like that. Some people do not have the mental capacity to do it or to do it well, to synthesize and regenerate. People don't, on the most part, don't have that. Because we're pulled in so many different directions. We got our own shit to deal with. But in this moment, because it's happened on such a large stage, and I'm not talking about Rolling Loud, I'm talking about on social media where the world can see it, it does create an opportunity for us to have these types of conversations to explain about HIV and AIDS virus, where we are with it now that we weren't in 20, 30, 40 years ago. Him to get on stage and say, if you don't have HIV or AIDS or any of those other sexually transmitted diseases that'll kill you in 2 to 3 weeks, I was thinking like, damn, is there something else? There's something new that kill you in 2 weeks? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
what do you mean?
Communication. People with HIV and AIDS, with people that take the medicine and the meds. You told me this. They live longer than people that don't got it. They live healthier lives than.
Right. So I was so confused as to where this old ass message came from. Like, was he in like 90s Source Awards or like where'd this come from? But it does create an opportunity for us to learn. For those who are willing, you have to be willing to learn and to be open. And the same thing has to happen for us too. We have to be willing to listen to these people say this dumbass shit. So it gives us the opportunity to teach. But it also gives us the opportunity to learn as well. Like we have to understand the world we live in, and that some people just have limited views, and we have to be able to adjust and move around it. Just like they have to be willing to like accept this, and adjust and move around it. So to your point, ZZ, yes, this can be a learning lesson, and unfortunately, part of that lesson that he may learn is that when you get on your platform, when you have arrived at a space where you are influencing, have the potential to influence a generation of people, you should want to lead. You should want to lead with integrity, and you should want to lead in truth, and you should want to lead in a space that moves us all forward, socially progressive, so that we all live together, not just for you, but for your kids and your grandkids. Because you don't know if your son or your daughter is going to be a lesbian. You don't know if your grandson is going to be trans or gay, or could someone in your family could catch a STD and that could be offensive. Like you don't know any of these things, and so being very, very careful about how you literally ostracize people. Now I get it, in rap culture, for rap concerts, you're trying to get people that hyped. It is common to do a call out. I know what a call to action is. if you got $100 in your pocket, make some noise. Some people could say that's and capitalistic, like, because now all the broke people mad, like, well, I ain't got $100.
Why I mean? $20 in my pocket?
That's if your coochie clean, blah blah, it's supposed to be a pound. Like, ain't nobody with funky coochie don't not put their hand up. Like, it's supposed to be. I know what it's supposed to be, but unfortunately, Dababy, it did not give what it was supposed to give.
Yeah,
and for T.I to be this, I feel like T.I want to be Cliff Huxtable so bad, and he's just doing it so bad.
He that uncle that just want to get involved in the conversation. Don't know that they used to have good sense back in the day, but now they just completely off. Because I'm gonna give it to T.I. T.I made some good sense back in the day. He definitely, people will go to him for advice and everything, but
good sense for things that he's overcome. Like, stay in your box if that's the case. Like, you can talk to me about taking guns off the street and what drug pushing has done for you, or what the street life is, and getting out of that. He used to rap about that, about saying, I made my money and I moved out the hood. They, people don't want us to do good. You know what I mean? Like that. He used to rap about stuff like that. That is something that he has lived and experienced. And I would rather you try to coach in that space, but don't quit jumping in other grown folks' business as if you're an authority on something when you're just as ignorant as the people you're trying to defend. Like, you don't know shit about this. Like, you're coming from a place of ignorance, which means you're not helping. And bringing in someone else who you think is going to validate your opinion, it looks very biased. It's just, T.I should focus on these charges that he has. T.I should be focusing on these allegations. I mean, the same thing for Boosie and all of them. Like, these three people who have now interjected themselves into a conversation about HIV/AIDS, homosexual lifestyles, all these things. All of you are known to have sexually, physically, or emotionally abusive to women. And so the fact that you all are so moved by homoerotica is weird to me. You're a straight man. Why do other gay men bother you so much if you ain't gay?
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. People that really are straight, they have no comments on anything that we're doing. It makes no sense. And I think I said this on a TikTok video. I said when Lil Nas X came out with Industry Baby, I'm like, well, it looks like the homophobes they know how to, they acting right. They're not saying nothing. I said, but let me not speak too soon. A week later, this shit happens. This was all calculated. I know I asked, I said, what does Lil Nas X have to do with all this situation? But apparently he was brought up. People were still salty about that video. And I think y'all really need to get over. Y'all have the power to not watch things.
Well, kind of.
They don't got music video premieres no more on TV. Like, everything is on YouTube now. Everything's on the internet. You click if you want to see it. You get what I'm saying? People was reposting it. But it's like, whatever you're searching up, it's going to show up.
They watched it. Boosie probably watched it every day.
He probably watched that thing every day and probably was doing stuff while watching it. Okay. And speaking of
all these niggas jailbirds. So y'all not finna sit here and make me believe that all these niggas that went to jail. So y'all really got a problem with gay people? Because I know that if you were gonna be locked up for more than a year, you was gonna fuck one of them. I'm just
allegedly, okay.
Or if not, being able to befriend one, like people got to be honest. Like, sometimes when people are triggered on this, a lot of homophobia, it either comes from unknowing, comes from ignorance, or it becomes from it's like a negative reaction for something that they're struggling with, or that they've had to struggle with. I don't know what Boosie's story is. I just know he was in jail for a long time.
Well, there was this person on Twitter, and he's very popular on TikTok, and said that they had a secret relationship. It was I was like, you really?
Let me tell you.
Let me say, allegedly.
But even in gang, like street life and gang culture, it's like when you're out there in that particular lifestyle, gay, straight, or whatever. When you got shooters, they all shooting together. Y'all doing the shit. They'll tell you, like, I don't care about that. Like, get your life, do your thing, because the focus is on something else. Like, you both have a common struggle, and you're both you can focus on something outside of outside of that. But I'm just like, Boosie, you bounce in and out of jail. Like, what happened to you while you were in there?
And
like,
I think,
did somebody pick your booty? What happened? Why are you so pressed? Like the way that Boosie jumps in trans people business is alarming. The way that he jumped in our business is so.
And let's just get into that. Let's get into that rant, because first of all, he made a statement. The reason why he did the rant, because he was trying to find any reason to come for Lil Nas X, was because he said that he was going to get on a stage and perform naked for charity, in which I scoured Lil Nas X's Twitter.
I didn't
need to, because he didn't say it. What he said was proceeds for the Industry Babies video will go to people that cannot afford bail. Now that can't say much for this the Dababy video that he came out with in prison, or whatever, that prison video that he made just now. But the proceeds that Lil Nas X was doing for Industry Baby was going to people. That was going to charity.
Right.
Okay, he was not performing live on nobody's stage naked. It's not legally possible. And the fact that I was actually going back and forth with people on TikTok and social media saying that is not ethically possible. Like, y'all believe, and this is where I go into I'm trying to tell people, or try to explain to people, you can't, because they already have it in their mind, and they're not going to change their opinions. Their opinions are always going to be the same. And you're wrong. It's that whole live, when I was at work, first of all, when I was watching that show, I'm like, not Boosie done came out and said something. You called him the F word. And my thing is Instagram. What's going on? Y'all looking, you know how y'all looking like, and then y'all saying, LGBT people are bullying us, and this, that, and the third, and why they, and all this stuff is happening. Y'all know how y'all sound like? Y'all sound like Trump. Y'all sound like Trump. That's why I said black people. There's a lot of black people that are conservative as fuck, and it's not conservative as far as Republican being Republican, but conservative. They have conservative values, and it's like we are the last people that should be being like that. I don't get it.
I think that it's such a fine line to walk when we are a nation who prides ourselves on freedom. Right. The older you get, you realize that we have regulated freedom. It's not real absolute. I am a person that believes in individual sovereignty. And I know that may be a hard, tough concept for a lot of people to grasp, even in the system that we live in now. But I believe that people have the natural born right to do, feel, say, express however they feel, and so choose. So any of these talking heads at the moment, whether they're right, wrong, because right and wrong is a moral issue. We get to choose what is right, what is wrong. But removing the right and wrong from it, they have the right to express and feel how you want to feel. Thank you for showing me how you feel. I appreciate you for exposing that part of yourself, because it allows me to know how to operate around you. And it also shows me people who agree with you and how they feel. If they, it allows me to better navigate my own life. And I think that for gay people, we've had to do that for so long. There must be horses outside. My dog is acting crazy.
Oh Lord.
But hold on one second.
Okay, so this would be the perfect time to read these comment.
Hold on, because I'm moving into that too.
Okay.
It's an opportunity for us to actually discover what does freedom look like, and what does it mean for other people. Like with Instagram and these social media platforms in the past couple of years, trying to find a way to make them safer spaces for other people. It's like, we had the alt-right putting all this misinformation out there for the past 5 years. Now you have this happening right now in the industry, in the entertainment world, where someone like a famous rapper can spew misinformation about HIV and AIDS, or rappers can jump on Instagram Live and spew and literally engage in hate speech and not be shut down by the services, because you have to tiptoe that line about what is freedom of speech. Are they free to feel this way? Are they free to say these things? And is it harmful? Does it harm other people? And it's like, okay, well, we know that Instagram ain't going, unless you playing somebody music and they trying to make sure they don't have to pay no extra coin. They'll shut down. You play a Beyonce song, your live getting shut down in 5 seconds.
Okay.
Period.
Uh-huh.
So people get on Instagram and they express what they want to express, and then it goes viral. That makes money for Instagram. So you have to think about that too. This is still a business at the end of the day.
Well, same thing we talked about with Kevin Samuels. They're not gonna stop Kevin Samuels. Yeah. He make millions of views.
Right. And being polarizing at this particular time, it's like, okay, well, we have so many different opinions. How do we shape the conversation so that there is something positive and progressive coming out of it? So you're gonna need, though, we need to hear these things. Like, know who your enemy is. Like, you have to know what's in the room if you want to navigate in clarity and in light. I think for a while we've been bumping around in the dark, running into each other and being harmed and hurt because we're not really aware. We don't see what's standing in front of us. I appreciate Boots. I don't agree with anything he says for the most part. Very disappointed as a person from Louisiana who grew up listening to his music. You know, I'm still, write me down all the things, but it's like, as a person, your personal beliefs do not align with me, and they don't align with me as a person, as an individual. And ZZ said, they pick and choose. Do you think it's Hollywood also to bring out Tory Lanez? Cardi B went on a rant wishing AIDS on a black man's mom, so something is different here. Cardi B was wrong in that statement too. Like, there was backlash that she received from saying those things. Did it end her career? It clearly did not, because she actually has a team, a PR team that she got that learned how to coach her through these sticky situations. And some of these other rappers should probably take note and just learn how to just be quiet. When you say something and it shocks the room, yes, you open the door for a new conversation. However, don't keep throwing fuel on the fire. I think I tweeted, I was like, I just need Dababy, Boosie, and T.I to just get a podcast already and just be problematic Negroes and just seriously. Because I need, just like Howard Stern or any of these other Bill O'Reilly, all these people, thank you for letting me know and showing me who these people are around me that agree with you. Who are the people around me that agree with you? I said in my post, we want to cancel people. We want to cancel Dababy. We want to cancel all these people. It's like, well, no, allow them to show you who these people are in your life. Who are the people around you who hold this type of violence, who say these same type of things, who hold these same types of beliefs? Because there's an opportunity for you there to create dialogue, or there's an opportunity for you to excommunicate. Choice is yours. But it's still, what he said was some bullshit. Boosie's always, I feel like Boosie's is problematic. A lot of these people are looking for attention because they can't release good music anymore.
Hello.
And just trying to maintain and be part of the conversation. I don't know. I think Boosie has a podcast coming out with Flavor Flav, the little father and son podcast.
It's not father and son podcast. Ciao.
I mean, yeah, that's what they call it.
Don't need them messing up the airways over here in podcasting. Okay, they can do it, but I feel like it's not like, okay, they're going to be in their own collective spaces on podcasting, and then like it's still going to be, they're still going to heavily post that shit on the Shade Room because the Shade Room is negative shit.
That's
fine.
It's
going to be posted on blogs. Like, we're going to hear what they're going to have to say, and
that's fine. And we will react to it.
Podcast is different too, because I could say a lot of things on here, and it will not. My podcast will not get deleted.
That's true, but you're also very mindful about what you're saying.
Yeah, that too. But
and also, our goal isn't to like incite people. We're literally giving our reactions to what these people who are making all these rich people. I think about it that way. When we get on our show and we're discussing these topics, we're really discussing the people who have moved into a position in their life where everything that they do is under a magnifying glass, and they get paid top dollar for us to discuss how this is shaping and shifting the culture. When people look at Hollywood, when I was growing up, Hollywood was a fantasy world. Everything in Hollywood was fake. My mom taught me that really early on, is that this isn't real. It's not real. It's just, this is entertainment. Right. And growing up as a younger entertainer, I had to remember, like, okay, well, what happens on TV is for TV. Real life is something different. Until I got older and realized, like, okay, what's happening on TV is now shifting the culture in real life. So there's a responsibility, there's a social responsibility that comes with being one of those people. If I were ever to become famous, because I recognize what my own, I know what my power is now, and I'm just, I'm just me.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that when I speak, my words have the power to change things. You know what I mean? My ability to just be in a room creates the space for other people who are like me to also walk into that room and that space comfortably. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you get to that large platform, understanding your power, a lot of these people, a lot of these entertainers, a lot of these people who come from depraved situations and move into these spaces with money, that's why you hear them rap about it so much, because they're not used to it. They're not used to having this kind of money. And the only thing they can talk about is the low vibration and low level stuff that they're used to. You got a whole bunch of money, but you rapping and talking about shit that people who are poor can relate to, and that they're spending their money so you can be richer. And you're not teaching them anything. And you're just as ignorant. They're just paying you to be you're being paid to be a fool.
Yeah.
And Boosie is a fool. And he ain't getting paid to be. That's the problem.
That's the thing. Like he not even getting Instagram. The CEO of Instagram already talked about it. They said no, he has too many public nudity things. I guess because he having girls showing their bodies and stuff like that. Like your Instagram is compromised. What are you doing? Like you have nothing going on, and it's like and child, we going in circles talk about Boosie, child. I ain't got time for it. But the main thing you did say was people should have a certain responsibility when they're on TV. And I would say this is kind of, I think now because the internet is so big too, I think these three people have a big influence on people. And I think that a lot of their followers, a lot of their followings are going to have that same rhetoric as them. And this may bring back like some kind of, beef between people in the LGBT community or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I feel like people should have freedom of speech. I think that should never be compromised. However, it's a slippery slope because people just saying shit like that. I'm like, child, I can't. And this is like a week-long topic. Like this carried over. This is a big conversation. I think I'm happy to see, Lil Nas X is not really sweating over this shit. I think he definitely made some tweets, kind of joking, still promoting his industry baby or whatever. Like he said a lot of people just on his what, and a lot of people like gay on a low, which is okay. But like it's not really phasing him that much, and I like to see that. Just my whole thing on it, Yeah.
But Mike, if we're gonna cancel anything or cancel anybody, we have to focus on canceling the culture, and that comes with the people that you deal with in your daily lives. Because these people who are getting paid to be fools, or not getting paid to be fools on these public platforms, they're there for a reason, and we should utilize every tool we have available, to push for a better society, and that requires us to deal with some of these really tough and sticky situations, opinions, critiques, all those things. They're all very important and valid.
Yeah.
Even if we don't agree.
Yeah, I think we should shift the focus on trying to cancel these people. I think, Dababy is definitely, there's a lot of things that's being stripped from him. And I mean, he was taken away from this UK live stream performance thing. I mean, a lot of people, Boohoo Men, some kind of clothing brand or whatever, he had partnered with them. They're not partnered with him anymore. I'm not telling people, I'm not going to get on this platform and tell people to like cancel him. Like, let's all do it together. I'm just letting y'all know I ain't listening to another goddamn song by Dababy ever again. And that is on period. A lot of people, that's just my personal opinion. You can listen to him if you want to. That's cool. The deal breaker wasn't that he was homophobic for you. And that's cool. That wasn't your deal breaker. It's cool.